Now let's talk about encryption. Encryption is about safeguarding from unauthorized access. Now it provides confidentiality, that the data should be confidential to the unauthorized parties and who cannot able to understand the what is inside the particular file, right? Because everything is encrypted in the ciphertext. So what encryption provides is that your plain text is converted into ciphertext. Now there are two types of encryption algorithm. One is symmetric and the other one is asymmetric, right? So let's discuss first by having this document available, and I'm going to add this document also that could help you out. Now you can see here that the simplistic symmetric encryption is basically, you can see that A, B, C, D to M is written. So A is the substitute of N, B is substitute of O, C is substitute of P. So in place of B it will write O, C it will write P. So for example, if you write RNFL, so it could be easy, the word could become easy. URYYB is hello. So this is how encryption works. So encryption is basically a same key that is used to encrypt and decrypt the data. So for example, under symmetric you can say that same key is used, okay, for encryption and decryption. So for example, if you are encrypting from plain text to ciphertext, you are using the same key, and the receiver also converts the ciphertext to the plain text using the same key, okay. Now symmetric encryption is less secure. Why it's less secure? Because there is lot of maths required in asymmetric, right? And we established a link between the two remote networks using asymmetric for secure the communication. So this is how asymmetric comes in picture, that it provide a tunneling between the sender and the receiver, okay, and both are using different keys for encrypting and decrypting the data. So different keys are public key and private key. Now, okay, now let's look upon the working of asymmetric key. That asymmetric key is basically, one key is used to encrypt the data and the other key is used to decrypt the data, okay. So the public key is basically shared by both the parties. So what it does is that for example, this is sender and this is receiver, okay. To establish a secure tunneling between that, both will first share the hello messages. After hello message, once they receive it, they're going to share their public keys. Our receiver will share its public key and the sender will also share its public key. Now if they started communicating, what they do is that they encrypt the data. So basically the S has the public key of R. So because it's sending the data to R, it will use the public key. And the most important part about these two, public key and private key, is that it is unique per user and it is authenticated by the inside the digital signature. And you are aware that the digital signatures are signed by root CA and intermediate CA, right? So there is a whole process about that, that if you read further about that you can understand. So once the root CA signing the digital signature, it ensures that every digital signature should have a unique public and the private key. So this basically keeps a very good uh, a very good security in terms of communication. So basically the sender will encrypt the data using the public key of the receiver, which is already shared, and once it's received to the receiver will decrypt with a private key. Private key is already with him, okay. So even if anybody could receive this particular data, cannot able to decrypt it because it is only decrypted with the same private key. This is how asymmetric key works. Uses of cryptography. The most important aspect of cryptography is code signing. Let's take this whole process of code signing, that how this works. Okay, so we are taking the example of Microsoft, that Microsoft is sending partial updates to all of his users. Now, how would you verify that this is coming from official Microsoft source, right? So there is a whole process that we need to look upon. Okay, so the first thing is that the developer of that particular patch or any update of Microsoft, what they do is that they just sign the software, or you can say sign the code using the private key. Okay, so the private key that they received, in the digital signature, right, in the digital certificate, right? Now what they do is that once the signing is done, the developer will hash the complete code into hash digest, right? Now once the code has been hashed, now what the developer does is that the second step is it will be encrypted with private key. So the code has been encrypted using the private key, right? Now what it does is that obviously the developer will get the digital certificate to verify that this is the legit source. And okay, so under that digital certificate, that is obviously be certified from the trusted authority that contains the developer information, like every other digital certificate contains the developer information and public and the private key. So the private key is already there, so there's public information in that digital certificate is there now, right? So now once the user of that application receives the update, just decrypt, okay, using the public key that they have already. Okay, and once they decrypt it, they receive the hash value, right? That how the code has been encrypted before, right? So he just going to match this hash value with the value that he received with the application code, right? So basically, if both the hash matches, the code has not been modified since it is signed, right? So this is how we maintain the integrity. Now you will going to ask me that how the client receive the hash of the application. So basically, under that functionality, when any developer release any application, they give us the pre-computed hash in the downloadable file. So we already received that computational hash, okay, to verify that after decrypting using the public key, both the hash value matches or not. Okay, so the developer published the hash on their official website, or we can say their release notes. So you can see the release note of every other software while their releasing date. And what the client do is that the client download the file, and that downloaded application contains all the hash value provided by the developer, right? And after downloading the application, the client uses the same hashing algorithm to calculate the hash of the downloaded file, right? So with the help of to verify that, it uses same hashing algorithm to verify the integrity, right? So there are certain tools that, let's take as SHA-256 sum or certutil in Windows, that could helps us verifying the hash value with the original value of the developer, as well as the hash value that is attached in the user file, right? So we're going to look at the document also. So you can see here that this is the diagram that is created, that the original code that has been hashed into hash digest and encrypted with a private key, right? Now it has been it has been signed by encrypted hash and the timestamp as well, and it is attached to the document which is provided by the developer, right? Now this is code signing certificate, which written over here, that helps us verifying that this certificate is from legitimate source, from DigiCert or any other official certificate, to verify the authenticity of the private key and the public key information. And that has also been attached to the sign code that helps verify the client that this particular digital certificate is legitimate. Okay, so this is how cryptography helps in all the uh, in all the software bases to maintain the integrity and confidentiality of data. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.